My fellow Tennesseans, my name is Karen Camper, and I'm proud to serve as the minority leader of the Tennessee House of Representatives. A few weeks ago, I was honored to take the oath of office. This wasn't the first oath that I had taken. I'd been honored to take many oaths over the past years. However, this one was different. I wasn't just taking the oath of office, I was taking the oath of office to become the minority leader of the Tennessee House of Representatives. But what made that so significant was not that I was taking the oath of office, but it was where I was taking my oath of office. I took my oath of office in my community. And many times people will often ask me, what community do I represent? And before I can say Memphis, I stand up straight, stick my shoulders back and chest out, and I say I'm from Whitehaven. You see, most people see Whitehaven as a community, as a small community in Memphis, but it's much more. It's a community, but it's also a collective of people and cultures that collide together to work for the good of their village. It is in our communities that we experience the joys and sorrows of life that makes us who we are. It was my community in South Memphis where I grew up, where I had my first kiss, where I first fell in love. And it was the community of Whitehaven where I sit down with my family and told them that I was leaving to go serve the military. It was a hard decision, but I knew that if I left, that my mother and my father and my family would be all right because of my community and because of the faith we had in our community. I place the same faith in community today. Communities are where people have hopes, where dreams are transformed into realities, and where the solutions to solve the issues for this state are birthed. To this end, Mr. Governor, while I say to you that the state of our state is strong, I would offer to you that the state of our state is only as strong as our weakest community. And unfortunately, in so many instances, the state of our communities are weak, they're under attack, and they're being weakened by the second. Nowhere more clearly can we see this than in our rural communities across our state. Over 13 hospitals have closed in this state. This is more hospital closures per capita than anywhere else in the country. Despite this particular attack on our communities, most of the people, they stay there for the love of their community. However, we as a state should never, ever be found engaging in practices that weaken our community. We must be found building them up. It is an absolute disgrace that this administration and those Republicans who put party over people continue to hold the lives of so many Tennesseans in the balance and allow those communities and its members to suffer simply to save political face. This extends far beyond any talking points or sound bites. The lives of the members in our community literally hang in the balance. This is about the child whose mother is elderly, and the previous response time for a medical emergency in their community was from 5 to 10 minutes. But now, due to the inaction of this administration, the failure to accept our federal dollars into our state, they have chosen to gamble with the lives of Tennesseans. and the response times have increased almost to 45 minutes at a time when every second counts. As a result of this inaction, today over 300,000 Tennesseans remain uninsured, while countless others struggle to find health care in this environment. And many Tennesseans would die a preventable death simply because this administration refuses to act. The issue is real, the solution is clear. Mr. Governor, if you want to stop hospital closures past Medicaid expansion, Mr. Governor, if you want to stop raising medical emergency response time when every second count, pass Medicaid expansion. Mr. Governor, if you want to ensure more Tennesseans have insurance coverage, pass Medicaid expansion. And Mr. Governor, if you want to ensure access to quality, affordable health care for all Tennesseans, pass Medicaid expansion. We must stop this downward spiral of Tennessee's health care. It's a crisis. My colleagues on the other side must stop putting forth these half steps and these slogans that do nothing to solve the actual problem. I urge the Republicans to end the charade and pass Medicaid expansion once and for all. Mr. Governor, the state of our communities and the lives of Tennesseans hang in the balance. I remember being a little girl, rushing out of the halls of my elementary school, running down to the home of a lady that we come to know as the Candy Lady. She was an elderly lady. She always had freeze cups in the summer and pickles in the winter, and my favorite, Chico sticks for sale. She didn't have a business license. She didn't have a business plan that would lead her to have a Fortune 500 company. But she was the first entrepreneur I knew. And although she wasn't highly educated, didn't have an MBA, she knew exactly what her customers needed, and she knew exactly how to make us happy. She wasn't just an entrepreneur, though. She was a staple in our community. And today, I'm blessed to know a lot of entrepreneurs, and I'm always amazed at their intellect, their work ethic, and what they give back to our communities. People like Corey Coleman of Orange Mound, Tennessee. Like so many, he has the work ethic and the willpower that will lead our next generation of entrepreneurs. During the day, Corey works a 9-to-5 job as a community development and recruitment manager. After his duties, just like a superhero rushing to save the day, Corey rushes, gets his chef hat, and begins his long life dream of becoming a chef. And in less than a year, Corey has taken his business from a dream to a hobby to a thriving business in the city of Memphis, and it's still growing. We're proud of you, Corey. But it's up to us to ensure that men and women like Corey all across this state have the resources to allow them and their business to prosper. It is our job to ensure that we provide the best possible environment to make sure that their path to their dreams are clear and unobstructed. We need to provide more incentives for small businesses to ensure that we're building a strong economy that will guarantee a strong consumer base for our small business owners to prosper. And finally, We must not forget our children. After I completed my military service, I was a substitute teacher in my community. And it was there that not only did I see the faces of our children, but our future. Let me be clear. The paramount duty of our state is to provide adequate funding for public education. This will ensure that all students residing within our borders have the resources they need for their God-given potential. I'm saddened that our governor has chosen to take money away from public schools by supporting what he calls an education savings account, but we know are vouchers. Time and time again, in other states, we have seen that students who take vouchers have not performed at the level of their peers. We must continue to fight this attack. We must continue to make sure that our public schools are fully funded. Stop this attack on our public schools. Our schools are often the center of our communities. And oftentimes, a deteriorating school is the result of a deteriorating community. Our schools, they're like the soil that holds the seeds for our children's future. Only we have the power to determine if our children will be planted in good soil that will result in them having an amazing harvest, or toxic soil that is unable to produce the nutrients to sustain our future. There is no better example of this than in the city of Chattanooga. Yancey Freeman, who currently serves as the Vice Chancellor of Enrollment Management, Student Success, and Student Affairs, grew up and was educated at Central High School. Yancey, who continuously excelled in his studies, chose the University of Tennessee at Chattanooga. It wasn't just because of the school, but it was because of the small community feel that he had there. And after graduation, he could have went anywhere. He could have went anywhere to further his career, but he chose to stay in Chattanooga and give back to the community that gave so much to him. From class freshman to vice chancellor, Dr. Freeman is a testament that from one community school to another, the strength of our communities have the power to transform lives. We are honored to have him here with us today. It's clear. Communities are the backbone of our state. From our communities come the consumers that fuel our economy. From our communities come the children who will lead us into the future. And from our communities will come the solutions that solve our issues and will lead this state into the future to ensure prosperity for all Tennesseans. It is clear and has been proven time and time again, to empower our state, we must empower our communities. And to empower our community, we must empower our people. This is why Democrats will always be the party of community. This is why we work so hard to reach every part of the state to find solutions to the issues that plague our community. It's your community. You know the issues. You know the solutions. Democrats are determined to listen to our communities and bring those solutions back to this body, transform those solutions into legislation and ultimately transform our communities. Through the power of this listening tour, you will have real solutions and real actions that we can use to address the issues that's plaguing our communities. Through the power of community-centered solutions, Democrats will prove once again that while the Republicans may be the party of awesome sound bites, Democrats will be the party of sound solutions. And while they remain focused on their influence of the cameras, Democrats will remain focused on building our communities. And while they continuously focus on their own personal interests rather than implementing innovative solutions that will transform our state, Democrats will continue focusing on putting forth meaningful legislation to move Tennessee forward. We will go to large cities and small unincorporated areas. And although there are many differences between the two, I'm convinced that many of the same solutions will solve many of the same problems that we see in each community. And together, we will come back to Nashville in 2020. Together, we will pass legislation that will heal our communities and strengthen our villages. Together, we will rise to the challenges of moving Tennessee forward. And together, we will transform Tennessee. Together, we lead. God bless you, your local community, the state of Tennessee, and may God continue to bless the United States of America.